Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Woo! We are breaking down all of the Easter eggs from Cyborg's Knightmare vision.
Obviously, full spoiler alert, because if you're like, what Cyborg Knightmare Easter eggs are you talking about, Marks? Then you haven't watched the biggest movie right now, Zack Snyder's Justice League, if you don't know what we're talking about.
What, do you live under a rock?
No way.
A lot of things happened in this short glimpse into the Knightmare future within Zack Snyder's multiverse Justice League. Let's talk about some of the Easter eggs outside of the movie itself. One of the first things we get to see here is the Unity forming, and this is actually pretty significant for us that have been following this for quite a while, because this is a brief glimpse of what that original storyboard that was released in very early 2018 was, showing Darkseid on his throne, the Unity exploding and terraforming the Earth. And then of course, at the very end of this Knightmare scene, we see that crumbled, rubbled pile of the Justice League Manor. And that's exactly what was in this storyboard. And also one other small Easter egg for us early on Super Sleuths. Remember that shot from the very first trailer that we ever got? And a lot of people were speculating why it showed this town getting covered in blue light and it looked like it was exploding. And then when we first saw that storyboard, we all wondered, was this part of that storyboard? Well, this now confirms it. That exact moment of the Unity exploding, it is that shot from that trailer. That trailer did show us a partial glimpse into that original storyboard.
So the first shot we get is the first member of the Justice League meeting their demise with Wonder Woman and some sort of Amazon Greek funeral. This is obviously very telling because we're starting to really see the Knightmare scene and most likely what was supposed to happen in Justice League 2 starting to come to fruition.
Obviously, you see the invasion forces in the background there as the Amazons mourn Diana's death. You see Hippolyta there crying. Very interesting because I'm trying to figure out whether or not Connie Nelson came back for reshoots or Zack Snyder actually shot this in 2016. A little mystery in itself there.
Then in the next shot, we see Darkseid in the ocean and Arthur meeting his fate.
Being killed with his own trident.
Dick move, Uxis, dick move.
And then the money shot for the fans that have been following this for a while. We get deep fried pregnant Lois laying there in the arms of the Man of Steel himself with Darkseid coming out of the smoke. Now, what Snyder has talked about that this was a scene that he never got to shoot.
And so I was asked by the studio to say, hey, you can't, there's a lot of stuff we don't want you to do from that script. So we did a rewrite, right, of the script. So the original Justice League that Chris and I wrote, we didn't even shoot. I mean, there's a lot of it that we shot, but the actual idea, the hard idea, the scary idea, we never filmed because the studio was like, that's crazy. You know, the Knightmare sequence in this movie, right, was always my idea that all of that would be eventually explained, of course. I mean, is that a surprise? That we would end up in the distant future where Darkseid has taken over Earth and where Superman has succumbed to the anti-life. So those were the things that we were dealing with. And not to say that the studio still, they were still into sort of the big look, but the details of how and why everyone was mad at each other or why, that was the stuff where they were a little bit because Bruce says, I was right here and Barry Allen came to me and he said, Lois Lane is the key, right? And then she goes, he is the Superman. Every heart has one. And he goes, I think it's something more, something darker, right? And what it means is that the thing that was darker was that, it was all about if Lois died, Superman would succumb to the anti-life, of course, right? Barry Allen was in my freaking Batcave yelling at me about nonsense. And you need to put him to that other one because that's the one that because he had to jump right before Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave to murder Lois, so you have to
But he was saying Lois would die in the Batcave. Now, how do we know this is the Batcave? Well, off to the right here is the dead Robin suit with ha ha ha, joke's on you, Batman.
This might have been the moment when Snyder was describing it at SnyderCon that got one of the biggest pops, and then to even watch it on screen happening and unfolding, and Matt called out the Robin suit, again we popped of like, holy shit, I can't believe this is what we are watching.
Shane was like, how did you see that? And I said, I don't fucking know. And this would be the exact moment when the Man of Tomorrow succumbs to the anti-life equation. And this is how we get to evil Superman in those nightmare scenes that we saw in Batman versus Superman. But more significantly, the very next shot, which shows the Man of Steel floating above a destroyed Hall of Justice with a plethora of Easter eggs.
We can obviously tell that this is in Wayne Manor with the giant chandelier smacking you right in the face in this first shot, along with the brutal shot of the dead Green Lantern Kilowog.
Then just beyond Kilowog's corpse, we see to the left there, we see the Thomas Wayne portrait. To the right, we see Wonder Woman's shield. And obviously, a little bit to the left there is Aquaman's trident. Of course, with the cracked Justice League arc. This is kind of interesting because earlier in the premonition, we see Diana being buried with the shield. So why would the shield be back at the manor? But it's a little easier to explain the trident because even though we see Arthur getting harpooned with the trident by Darkseid, we see later on in the last Nightmare sequence that Mira had the trident. So this could also show the fate of Mira as well.
Then just beyond that, we see the sliced Joker card. In the trailers, it was obviously the Joker card that was just floating there, but now it's sliced, so we can only assume what Joker's fate was as well. And then Superman floating with the cowl in such a beautiful and intimidating shot.
The League be fucked.
And then right after the Nightmare sequence, we hear the Kryptonian ship say the future has taken root in the present.
Thanks everybody for listening to our little breakdown of these very essential Easter eggs that apparently will be a cul-de-sac to nowhere.
Thank you as always to everyone who watches our videos. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten along this wonderful path to the Snyder Cut. And if you want to support us even more, we do have a Patreon. We also have a YouTube membership page. You get early access to some of our lovely videos along with some blooper reels. Also be sure to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we are also a little more active now on the YouTube community page. So be sure to check us out on there as well.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.